Hello, everyone, and welcome to On the Range Podcast with Hogg Tactical and Kelley Defense. And thank you for making us part of your day. As always, I'm here with my co-host and friend, Rick Hogg. How's it going, pal?
Man, Mark, it is going fantastic. I just want to thank the viewers, listeners out there for giving us your most precious commodity, your time to tune in. Greatly appreciated. Don't forget, guys, tell your friends, tell your family, tell your neighbors, tell everyone you know about On the Range Podcast. And oh, by the way, hit that subscribe button. Leave us a rating review. I don't care if it's a thumbs up emoji. Do something. You know, if you like what you guys are here and want to support the show, don't forget, go to patreon.com/On the Range Podcast, where you will get twice a month a Zoom call interactive with me and Mark, answer your questions, save all the world's problems. I mean, it's a great time. We got patrons all over the world, so a couple different time zones we deal with, but yeah, definitely a great time. Don't forget, guys, last but not least, go to warhog.com, kelleydefense.com. Sign up for our newsletters. You'll be abreast to all the latest and greatest that Hogg Tactical, Kelley Defense has going on the Range Podcast. So thanks, guys. Appreciate it. And we've got a fantastic guest for today's show. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, super excited about this. You know, going to be very relevant to a lot of folks, people that we care about, and I want to get some good tips out there. And just a heck of a great guy. Super excited he could take time from his schedule and join us. But why don't you go ahead and bring him in and tell us who we have today, Rick?
Yeah, guys. So check it out. We've got my friend and Special Operations Combat Veteran Kyle Morgan. He is the owner of Blu Bearing Solutions, and he's also a Distinguished Service Cross recipient. So for those of you that are not savvy with military awards, that is one step below the Medal of Honor. So super great to have Kyle on. He's making that transition from active duty into the civilian world, and we're going to hear about him, a little of his background and his company. So, Kyle, welcome to the show, buddy.
Hey, Rick and Mark, thanks for having me. Super excited to be on the show and kind of tell the world a little bit about myself. And I wouldn't want to do it with any other people right now.
Appreciate it. Appreciate it, brother.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, really appreciate you being here. Yeah, man. Before we get started, I got to ask about. I see right away the swag you have hanging on the chair back there. How do I get one of those?
Well, so right now this is the demo, basically.
Okay.
The demo versions. I mean, I have just a small order I did just to start wearing my brand when I'm making content and stuff. So. One thing I'm really, I'm grateful for a lot of things, but one of the things as I'm doing this stuff with Blu Bearing Solutions, there's a learning curve, but you're not alone, right? Like,
yeah,
I say it all the time because I believe it, but iron sharpens iron. And for people like us, it's amazing to have the shared experiences, whether we worked side by side or in the same building, towards the same mission, or just, the military in general as we transition, to know that outside of that, that life that you've, given everything you have, there is something else out there. And, but, it's daunting. It's just a new challenge, right? So, like branding, I'm all about, like, I like kind of making content and doing things, to sharpen my skills and then impart some of the knowledge that I have onto others and, in the shooting world and tactics. But like, there's things that I just don't know about business and branding, so it's like, it's been really good to have, people like Rick, with Hogg Tactical and he's just been, doors wide open to ask him anything. And I think that's huge because it's a reciprocating door, a revolving door, right? Like it's, maybe Rick comes to me and needs something or vice versa. It's not like we're bringing each other up, versus it being a competitive. I love the competitive world, but the mission is different, right? A business is a way to provide a service or a product, but also a means to provide for your family, and, you know, whatever your intent is, you know, your mission statement for that company, you know, for me, it's to help others, you know, by using, whether it's like sharpening an edge, right, to protect what I care about, what people care about, you know, our families and each other. And, you know, and I can do that by teaching shooting, you know, on the flat range or on the range, or tactics in the house doing CQB, or personal defense in your own home, you know. But it's a mindset thing. And, you know, even though like my fight is over in a sense of what it used to look like, and it's wore many different faces, and the fight for me is just, it looks different. And I want to be able to, you know, stay vigilant as I did on the battlefield, but with my own, you know, transition and recovery, and in that process, hold myself accountable by not just saying something, but living it, you know. And that's where I think that, you know, me being able to do this, like in this forum and even on social media already, like it's my desire, or my new mission is to help others without sacrificing my own mind, body, and spirit to do it. You know, I'm grateful for all those opportunities that I've had in the military to do the things I've done and to help others and save people with my own hands, and take people off of this earth that shouldn't be here. But for me, it's a new mission, right? So it looks different. It's got a bunch of different things, but, you know, having people like Rick, Kyle Lamb, you know, Vern Cortez, Bobby West at CGS, like all these people, like I look up to, and I can, you know, basically just be honest with them. I don't know what I don't know. And I don't feel like, you know, keeping that circle small is great. And you need to surround yourself with people that bring each other up. You know, it's not about like trying to cut each other at the knees. I don't have time for that in my life. And I know Rick doesn't. And I'm sure you don't either, Mark. It's definitely out there. I'm already seeing it in this industry, and the tactical shooting, airsoft gear, like industry. Like it's a lot of it's aesthetics. A lot of it's like any press is good press, you know, make bold statements, all these things where you won't ever see me do that. Like I've just lost myself if I start doing that. You know, there's two things I'll take a stance on in shooting, and it's safety, firearm safety, gun handling, and the basic fundamentals of marksmanship.
Boom.
That's it.
Nailed it, man. Yeah. Because the rest is just cannon fodder, right?
Yeah.
So,
I mean, if you don't have a foundation in those two, and that isn't solid, like you can build whatever you want on top of that, but it's going to crumble. And the consequences could be deadly, you know, of that. It's not a game.
Sure.
You know, it's you know, competitive shooting. Yes, there's a gaming of it a little bit. There's about being the fastest and you know, being the most efficient, but like it's not a game. Every round you shoot, you know, you need to know, you know, where you're or pointing the muzzle. Like, don't ever point it at something that you don't intend to harm, you know, of any weapon system. But
so I'm going to help you.
Just kidding.
There you go. No, you're good. So I'm going to help you out, Kyle. Right. So this is safe zone. This is safe zone. So don't be afraid. All right. To stick a plug in there. Right. To go. So your website is what now? Where you know, because we talked about you kind of got your company started, right? But you never gave us. So don't be afraid to sit there and go, oh yeah, BlueBearingSolutions.com. You know. I don't know. So
no, good, fair point. So I unpublished the website for right now, just because, and so that's why I'm kind of leaning towards the social media of I've been kind of focusing on that, and there's a reason I did that. So, but I will talk. I can talk about that like the reasoning, not necessarily why it's unpublished, but what my plans are with my business moving forward.
Why don't you tell us what the name of the business and what it does and what you're going to do with it? How about that? I'm sure people would love to find where they could find you at.
Yeah. So, I started a business called Blu Bearing Solutions, with the intentions of, using a platform, or building a platform to be able to, help others, whether it be through training, sharpening that edge, training in the shooting or tactical, industry or realm, to leadership, professional development, team building, event planning, consulting, and I do want to get into motivational speaking and resiliency, talking as well. So very broad, but that is intentional, as I've, already got to this point where, my plan is to take the company Blu Bearing Solutions and focus it more on the leadership, team building, event planning for corporate America, gov, federal and state, departments, but essentially, like, for lack of better terms, like SFAS Team Week, but bespoke events built to the customer's abilities, their desire, their requirements, their, basically kind of what they want to, be like challenged with. I mean, if it's physically, I can definitely do that, but it's not necessarily a go ruck, or, it's going to be something of its own. And I want to use all the experience that I've just obtained through my military career, and being challenged either on the battlefield or in training in leadership positions, and have the customer, be put into positions that, and assign tasks that they haven't, that are outside of their normal scope. And then they get that introspection, they get the, perspective of each other as leaders and followers. And then, they get the real-time feedback from me as I'm kind of guiding them through the event. So a couple of those things are in the docket, or coming up here soon. I'll execute those, and I'll have some real feedback to be able to, post reviews. It'll be more kind of designed with the deliverables that I can offer, the offerings, basically, knowing that it will be tailorable to whomever, and time, location. Obviously location's huge, right? So resources available, so that's going to go into it, and I just love doing that kind of stuff. Like, even just setting it up, like the planning aspect. It's like when we did any sort of training where we would, need to go and meet with, the municipal leadership, and, the law enforcement, and they get venues, do all those things, and the logistics that go into that. Right. So, that's going to be, one of the primary focuses of the Blu Bearing Solutions. And, with that and the motivational speaking and resiliency, talking about resiliency and empowerment, kind of two separate topics. Everything is intertwined because it's me, right? Mm-hmm. The common denominator in all of it is the service I'm selling is me. Mm-hmm. So, that's Blu Bearing Solutions. That's not how it looks right now on the surface, because it's so driven with content of shooting instruction, and I haven't really went into the tactical, space, but, what I'm building is a separate company that's going to be it's going to have a hard rollout, probably mid-April, but I'll probably go ahead and start leaning forward with some of this transition stuff with, with branding and marketing. But the name of that company will be Divergent Training Group, and it will be focused on the shooting instruction and tactical training, but where it's, full package deal. I've got, gunsmiths. I've got access to, it's going to be a lot of what I've already built with some of the branding as far as the shooting content, but, way more, a lot more professionalized, and it's eventually we will be traveling to set up open enrollments throughout the country based on demand. And but I have a team that's going to be working, for me for that one. So I think the look for that to come like here soon. And I'll do basically like a transition of content, as a soft transition, as I'm, trying to delineate Blu Bearing Solutions from Divergent Training Group. Now, mind you, I'm the CEO of a one-person company at Blu Bearing Solutions, and I'm going to be the CEO of Divergent Training Group, where there's basically myself and 3 others. So, that company has the resources through, FFL. They have the ability to, do all the machine guns, night vision, lasers, all that. So it's going to be, all encompassing. So I think I'm really looking forward to that, and because I'll be able to kind of not separate, because I want them to complement each other, because it's still me. I'll be the primary instructor for it in both regards. So I want the branding to remain, the same, as far as like, it's not going to have it's not like my outlet to let off steam,
Mm-hmm.
It's just the way I've come up to kind of necking down, as I've built Blu Bearing Solutions, how I want to go into the future.
Sure. So Kyle, just so I'm tracking. So Blu Bearing and Divergence are 2 separate companies. It's not like Blu Bearing's the major company and then Divergence is a subsect thereof. They're 2 totally separate companies.
Yeah. So they're Divergent Training Group.
My bad.
No,
Divergent.
you're fine. I probably said it really fast.
It's all good.
So like it is, and this is my business hat on, right?
Okay.
It is a separate LLC that is owned by myself and another partner.
Okay.
And between the 2, we're bringing our assets together.
Yep. Okay. That makes
Divergent Training Group.
Sure.
Yeah.
That makes sense versus having a division of, because
which is something we've talked about. And it's
right. So, but check it out. So we at Warhog Tactical, in parentheses, me. So yes, we have, it's working those separate divisions thereof. So in essence, you could say, yes, you have Warhog Tactical, On the Range podcast, a division of, because it still falls under that umbrella.
Mm-hmm.
We start running the product line, but I got it. You've got another partner in there. Makes sense to have the 2 separate, companies in there. I'll just tell you this, man, my hat's off to you, because that's going to be a boatload of work. Balancing 2, because you got to think 2 separate websites, now you're going to have to get separate, social marketing pages for all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I know. I know. Trust me.
Exciting times. And I guess you're going to have shirts that are dual, Blu Bearing on one side, Diversion on the back, just kind of, which one am I today?
Yeah. I think, oh man, no. So I think, he's crushing my ideas. No,
do a reversible one so you can turn it inside out.
Yes.
Oh, dude, man, even better.
Multifunctional, right? So
there you go.
Having more than one purpose.
Yeah.
Like,
remember the old skull caps where you could do that? Like inside was one, the kind of winter hats with the puffy ball. It was one on the outside. You pull it out. It's completely different on the inside.
Yep.
Boom.
I don't know how many puffy ball winter hats I've wore, but
those are making a comeback.
Yeah. No, I could.
Moon boots are making a comeback too.
And moon boots. We've talked about that.
It's crazy how history repeats itself.
There you
go. But no, great point, Rick. I think, I wouldn't have felt as comfortable with doing it like that if I didn't have the backing that I have with it, and the support mechanisms in place. And, a lot of it is like, because right now, like realistically, Blu Bearing Solutions, like my following thus far on Instagram, which I love you, and I always will, is predominantly because of like shooting videos or me wearing kit, or but everything I'm doing, I've been, putting something out to not just like look cool, right? That,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's great to make a good video, right? And I've been learning that process,
Mm-hmm.
and and but there's a message attached to it,
Yeah.
whether it's something that I've been, like blessed with having experienced in my own life and thinking that, I think this is something. So it's part of my messaging branding. Like there isn't really too much, whether it's me shooting or me sitting in front of an audience talking about leadership, like
Mm-hmm.
it's the same message. I just want to have a more like kind of packaged offering for the training, the shooting and tactical training,
Yeah.
right? And I think by doing so, I'll be able to get because I'm not a gear person, right? I know what has worked for me, in combat and in training, and but I'm learning a lot about this
Mm-hmm.
industry, and I'm all about trying new gear and testing things and seeing what works, what doesn't, but I'm not doing that. I'm not going to be like, oh, look at this, look at this. I just got it. It's great. It's awesome. I'm
So-
going to try things and test them. But like, I also want to get into product development, and,
Okay.
and merchandise and apparel,
So are you doing then product field testing for companies, or are you just doing product field testing for their own? So like if a company wanted to reach out to Blu Bearing, or I guess it would be under Divergent, that would be to test a product. Is that something that can be done, or is that something you're doing, or is it just personal?
No, absolutely. I'm all about demoing, testing, doing reviews, and right now I'm testing some stuff from Tenacore, and just really grateful that they've kind of provided me with a couple things that I'll just run through the gamut, and it's really going to help me for my own course offerings, through Divergent, when it comes to less than overt carry or concealed carry, and and then offering a course for
Mm-hmm.
shooting instruction for a day or so,
Yeah.
for that specifically. But so that's a good example of like, yeah, absolutely. I mean, if it's something that I think I could get behind, and having these conversations with the companies and their the executives or whomever, and if they align with what I am trying to do or build, then absolutely. Yeah, I look forward to those opportunities, because I want to be able to do that, because I want people to not just buy the next coolest thing they hear about, from a marketing guru. I want them to hear it from me and 10 of my mates that are
Mm-hmm.
like, yeah, man, that is a good bit of kit.
Yeah.
Right. And because I think that is something that we should be doing, like I say, the collective we,
Yeah. No, I agree, brother. It's some people get angry with me, and I'll just give you my 2 cents, kind of how I do business. So whenever I test a product, review a product, for me, it's at least a 90-day process.
Yeah.
Right. So it's not like the you see some of these. I got it, the what do they call it, the opening, the box opening or whatever.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Unpacking and review, unboxing and review.
Like,
Yeah, the unboxing
oh,
review.
man, look at this
Yeah.
pen, dude.
Yeah, I just got the
It's
pen,
so
yeah.
good.
Don't know if it
I could
writes.
sell
but
you
hey,
this
They
pen
eat
right
that
now.
shit up, man. Yeah.
now I will say this, and just food for thought for you, right? I'll just give you some of my experience just so you're tracking. So yes, if I'm going to do a review of an item, it's at least 90 days. However, I have done some products where it's what I dub an overview, right? So for example, Aimpoint just came out with their new Duty RDS optic. I have faith. I kind of gave a quick overview. Hey, here it is. Did I call it a review? Nope. It was an overview. Had it a couple of days, went out to the range, did some shooting with it, tested some of the features they talked about. Yep. Check the blocks. Here's the thing. I've run Aimpoint in combat, for a very long time. Their products are bomber, right?
You
So it's
believe
just like,
in them, right?
exactly.
Like you, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I couldn't agree more
So,
on that.
so I didn't have to go into a full, hey, beat this thing up, drag it around. Because here's the bottom line: what I can do as a civilian comes nowhere close to what an actual battlefield, combat engagement, working that stuff.
Trying to replicate that environment where
you can,
like Murphy's everywhere. Not that he's not on a civilian range.
No,
he is,
but I'm not going to sit there and go run, trip, fall down on purpose. I'm not going to slip, fall over this wall.
We never slip and fall. What are you talking about? Like under nods?
my jungle cat. Yeah,
we are the
jungle cat
the
skills.
best athletic people, most athletic and coordinated and all these things. Like we never
until that
mistakes.
one foot's caught in that whatever crap hole and it's stuck and it's
and then you're just.
But a couple of things that you hit on that I thought was really important that folks who are transitioning. The number one was, one of the biggest fears in this industry is, you can see it, is staying relevant. So the fact that you're out there learning new stuff, doing, T&E on things and pushing it back out there, telling you what you think, helping these product developers to come up with new stuff that's going to work because you've seen things that they're trying fail. That's huge. And then the other thing you mentioned was the content. I'm just pushing stuff out basically is what I'm hearing. You want to make it better in the future when you have the support network and all that, but you're pushing stuff out there, and that is huge. Some of our first episodes, bro, I mean, terrible, but
horrible.
It was out there. It was out there. You just got to keep pushing it out there. I think we're up to, well over, coming up on 300 episodes, and I'm still not thinking that we are where we're going to end up at. You know what I mean?
It's because
it's just constantly trying to get better at it.
Like, it's a great forum for me to even doing this podcast. Like, and it's a repetition for me to be able to work through, put myself out there, work through my story and make sure that like what it is I'm trying to do is I'm actually communicating, and it's being received. Right. So for communication, it's to me defined as is when a message you're trying to deliver is done so in a way that it's received by the other person, and then you give them that read back, right? So it's like, that is communication, and this is just different forum, to be able to do it, but it's also data points. So I can, whether from a training perspective, I look at my own stuff and I destroy myself as I'm looking at it. But all it's doing is, like, when I say destroy myself, I'm just my biggest critic. And I think that that's a good thing in a sense, where I'm doing that to drive myself, into another, honestly, like, I think I know my shooting performance I'm going to take it to a level that I would have never imagined, because I've always enjoyed it, but the joy kind of left, for a while, based on all these other things that I have to do. And now it's just fun. And I thoroughly enjoy, being on the range, and not that I haven't enjoyed it, but it just feels different. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah. No, totally. I mean, because here's the thing, Kyle, right? We all kind of hit that point, different stages in our life, and you hit a key thing, and I want to circle back with it. You mentioned your story, and I want to kind of get that piece out so you can chat that a little bit for our viewers, listeners. But dude, think about it. We lived in a world that did a lot of things to our bodies, right?
Yeah.
And, I will tell you just from my own personal experience, when you have TBI, I say it in a plural, TBIs, to the extent you don't remember people's names, where now everyone's, hey, buddy. Hey, man. Hey, bro. Yeah. Because guys I've known 10, 15, 20 years.
You're hoping they tell you their name.
Well, yeah, you're sitting there trying to go, somebody in the conversation say something, see ya, bro, but it's, with me, I didn't realize I had other dramas going on. I got eye convergence issues going on. So it's like, why is my shooting falling off? Why is this, you're just not performing at that level. And it all comes down to,
you're constantly putting Band-Aids on these things, man.
That's it.
And just to stay in the fight.
Yeah.
And yeah, like it's not just TBI. It's not just, migraines. It's not just insomnia. It's not just depression. It's not just like physical injury, like I had a fusion on my neck at 36. I got the scar. Like it blew my mind. It was my first surgery.
Mm-hmm.
And it was I was afraid. Honestly, because I was like, you're going to do what? And then do what? You're going to move stuff to the side, go back, take things out. I'm like, oh, but I had 3 different opinions from doctors, like surgeons, a neurosurgeon and 2 ortho spine. And I was not going to be like flippant about this decision. But ultimately the last doc was like, hey man, like you see your daughter right there, my youngest, she's 7 now, but he's like, you want to be able to pick her up in 5-10 years? I was like, yeah. He's like, then you need to get this surgery. And if I were going to get it, I'd get a fusion versus a disc replacement. Anyways, but so, and I'm better than I feel better than I've ever felt, at least from here to here, and like some of the radiculopathy. But there's so many other things that I'm just been able to sense then, because I was given the opportunity to go back to fighting, operating after I recovered 6 months, and I chose not to. I made that conscious decision because I just started to see things differently, because I started to address so many other things that were going on, whether physical, mental, spiritual, like wounds that I had. And as you unpackage that, I've let it overwhelm me at different periods because I didn't know like how to define it, how to process it, where I would just compartmentalize it or throw alcohol at it. Like it was one of those things that like, it was a blessing, and it was a way for God to say for me, like, hey, sit down. I'm going to make you sit down and look at what is in front of you, and start that process of taking care of all these other physical, and not just, because I believe in talk therapy. I've been in that process for, the past 5-6 years. And, but it was always to get back in the fight. It was always like what I would consider putting a Band-Aid on a massive hemorrhaging wound, right? Which doesn't make sense, but it does if you come from the world that we've worked in. And because I wanted nothing more than I did not want to let my teammates down. I didn't want to not be a part of that mission, whatever it was. I had this, like this calling where I, knew that I needed to be, the world needed Kyle Morgan in that mission, in that, where the reality is I'm very grateful for being able to do the things I've done and save people with my own hands from near death and certain death, and take people off of this earth that are just the definition of evil. That's the best way I can put it. And but it's next man up, man. It truly is. And, I've just come to realize that at a pretty young age. And I'm so grateful because I look back and I'm like, man, I don't feel like I left anything on the table, like in that regard. Right. I have a new mission for sure. And it's to be a good person, a good father, a good grandfather, and help others.
Yeah.
That's my new mission.
And that's, we talk about that all the time. It's, if everyone would do that, life is easy, right? Just be a good person.
Yeah.
How hard is that? Life would be shamalim and ding dong, and everything would be good to go. So you kind of mentioned it earlier, Kyle, if you want to circle back, you kind of said your story. I know you've been kind of hitting, if there's anything specific you want to deep dive into, your transitional period, whatever you want to, hit on that, just to give people a little more heads up.
Yeah, I think, are you asking me if I want to talk more? Yes. No. So, I think that, so just talking about like like Kyle Morgan, where I was raised, to join the Army, the basic kind of like bio, like I haven't really like explained that. I think, it's nothing glamorous, but like, I was born in, Central Florida in the best year of the last generation.
1970.
Nope. 1984.
Oh, come on.
Well, I think it was a good year. There's a lot of good movies that came out then. But anyways, TBI though, I can't remember the names of them.
Red Dawn.
Just age myself big time.
Well, I want people to know, like, hey man, I've been able to do all this stuff, and it's been, just about 20 years. And guess what? I'm not even 38 yet. I'll be 38 in here in a few months, but I got my whole life ahead of me, a whole nother life. And I'm so excited and grateful that I've been blessed with that opportunity to wake up every single day in this house with these people around me that need me, and I need them, and they need me to be present. And that is what gives me the most joy I've ever felt in my life. And it was there, Rick, Mark, it was there. But I, either through the mission or through my own misprioritizations, like I neglected it as I should have, as much as I should have been, like, embracing it. Not that I was, I think, a bad father. It was just, when you give everything 100% all day long or night, and then you go home and all you can do, whether it be because of physical pain or like just being fatigued, like mentally and physically, like, is sit on the couch and watch Netflix. And then you're like, you don't want to, like, help out with anything. Like, no, I'm too tired, I got to get up earlier. There was always this like me prioritizing myself and my career. Now, as selfless as the career has been at times, like, I was being pretty selfish for a long time. Like, I was doing it for myself, and, excuse me, but, growing up in, I didn't really grow up in Central Florida. Like, my mother's family, that side of the family is from that area. My father's family is from upstate New York. And, my dad did construction, concrete tile, in Florida. But, it's quite it's a physical job in the sun and everything. Either way, we moved around to different, places through the East Coast, whether it be New York and then Virginia for a stint, and then back to Florida for high school. So I think I went to 5 different high schools, and wow. And and it was we didn't have money. It wasn't, it was very, like, focused on aesthetics, like what people thought of us, kind of environment. And I think a lot of that is, like, led into, well, I wasn't going to graduate high school because, for one, I had, like, severe ADHD that never got treated or even acknowledged. I just acted out, and I was like the teacher's favorite person, but their, like, least favorite student, and like, they saw the potential in me, but I needed a family or a to be, like, mentored, to be developed. And I wasn't afforded that opportunity. So, along the way, I got kicked off the football team because my GPA, I played football since I was 5, and my GPA got down below a 2.0 or whatever, and I couldn't play. And I was like, you know what, whatever. I want to be the cool kid anyways. So that's what I'm going to do. And, so, like, but there was one teacher that I had at the school that I graduated from, and he actually was in the Army as a ranger from, I forget which battalion. I didn't even know anything about the Army, but he saw something in me. And actually, he is the one, because I got told between my, like, junior and senior year, hey man, you're not going to graduate. Like, I was like, oof. So he helped me get on a path to be able to graduate, but also, he would tell me stories about being in the Army as a ranger. And I even remember some photos he had shown me, and, like, I was like, oh, that's cool. That looks cool. All right. And, but then 9/11 happened. So this was September, 11, 2001. But it was such a visceral effect. I was a senior in high school, and 17, and I wanted to do something, and I wanted to be a part of something bigger than me. Mm-hmm. Like I wanted to be, it was that team, that family that I was like yearning for. And I signed up December 2001 in the delayed entry program. So, pending that I graduate from high school that May or whatever it was, I was signed up for 11 Bravo, airborne contract. I think it even said 82nd. I don't know why I picked that or whatever.
Oh, nothing wrong with the Almighty.
Well, it's all America's Guard of Honor.
So for some of us old guys, we just call it the Almighty, but that's all right.
Yeah. I guess that's just the generational humor gap, whatever. Anyways,
it was a squad. It was a platoon when we joined.
The OGs.
Christ was a corporal,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thanks, guys.
Moby Dick was a tadpole.